What's up, guys? Jason Payne, host of the Sexy Business Status podcast. I am here with a new friend of mine that we have a lot of mutual buddies, a lot of mutual partners and connections and whatnot. Michael Venidis. Venidis.
Yeah,
Greek.
you got it. It is
I also am G, not Greek. I'm G as in Gilbert.
I love it.
So that's funny. So yeah, Michael is a huge part of a mega marketing agency.
Yep.
And digital marketing agency. And we like, so mutual connection, mutual buddies. And they're like, dude, you guys got to get on here and just talk to him. He's a giver. He wants to help. I just saw him with Andy Hobaika the other day, passing out snacks and food and clothing to the homeless last Sunday. And so I was like, dude, I want to be around those kind of people. So,
hey, I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me. And that's what Andy does. Like he connects people. He's
very good at that.
Yeah, like he likes to piece people together, and I'm happy to be here, man. Like when he had told me about you and I started looking at your social channels, and I'm like, well, I know Jason's a hustler and I can respect the hell out of that. So the minute he had introduced us and I got to see a little bit about who you were, and I'm like, this is a guy I want in my circle. Like, I just want to come out and get to know you. And the fact that we're having a podcast too, why not? That sounds like fun.
Let's do it.
How can we provide value to the rest of the world, my man?
Yeah, what's crazy? Like, Bradley talked about this. He said that his personal brand and social media influence, for lack of a better, or reach, like 1000x when he stopped like not doing podcasts, because he still has his his huge podcast, but he had somebody literally recording him like 24/7. Basically, the second he showed up to the office to the second he went home, but like even except for the bathroom, like in the break room, outside, on random phone calls, right? Yeah. On the random meetings, and like always having somebody recording him. Yeah. Because like the real, raw, authentic version of him is not like this. This isn't choreographed. Like I don't have questions. I didn't come and say, here's the structure of the podcast. Oh, I said you can cuss, and you say whatever you want, mention people, throw people under the bus, mention dollar signs, brag, do it like there's no filter here, because one of the other gals that was here, she's LDS, very smart and very held back regarding language. Okay. And I'm not. And she's still very passionate, very high energy, but like I love throwing a couple F-bombs here and there when I get excited. I'm not like Andy Frisella. I don't use it as a verb, right? But I was like, dude, there's no filter here. But the point of it being, going back to Brad Lee, is when you just be who you are and don't change who you are, like no matter if my mom's sitting there or you're sitting there or Jesus Christ is sitting there, whoever's sitting there, I'm going to be the exact same person that I am.
I love that, man.
I will not, I forbid to change.
I love that.
Because that's fake.
Well, I have like a couple thoughts on this, man. It's like, one, life is too short, okay? I mean, you attract who you are, and if you're real, you're genuine, you're authentic, typically that's what you're going to get back, right? And I can't stress it enough, in a world of artificial intelligence, as we continue to evolve as a society, especially with social media. I mean, guys, we're not too far off from a world where we don't know what's real and what's fake anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I just think that authenticity, being genuine, is going to 10x. It's going to 100x. It's going to be a lost art, and I think that the most genuine people are going to win in the long run, man. So my hat's off to you for not wavering and being true to who you are, man.
Yeah, that's I always tell even people that work with me that creating content or doing ads, magazines, whatever, and they're getting this copy, and I'm like, that's ChatGPT wrote that. Like, you need to intentionally have some misspelled words and poor punctuation, because there's no way that shit came out of my mouth.
Yeah,
right?
Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting that you could like read that and you there's something in your heart,
dude? None of us. None of us talk that smooth.
Yeah.
We don't talk that smooth to our wives. Yeah. We don't talk that smooth to a presentation for a roof. We don't talk that smooth to a presentation or with your mom. Yeah. You don't talk that eloquent. I don't even freaking say that damn word. Like, you don't talk that suave anyways, but then all of a sudden it's on a post. Like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Like, that's like... To each their own. Some people like them, like the Andy Elliott's of the world, the Andy Frisellas, the Sean Whalens, the Grant Cardones. Like those dudes, like none of us talk like that. But then we roll out a post that is like that. It's like you did not write that, which means, in my opinion, you're freaking lazy.
Yeah.
Now, if you want some dialogue, or you're hitting what do they call it, writer's block?
Writer's block,
Is that what it's called?
yeah.
Right. And so, like, if you're hitting like, and ChatGPT can give you a bump or a head start, cool. But like, stop putting in the like. You didn't do it before, and understand you can do it now, and it definitely helps.
Right.
Especially with people that are inexperienced. Like, so my assistant doesn't know roofing at all.
Okay.
Little short petite girl's name's Jess. Super cool, but she knows jack shit about roofing.
Okay.
And I was like, hey, I need to do this. We're doing this. We're doing rolling out like guides. So a little cheat sheet for those blue collar guys listening. I'm rolling out guides this year. So if you're a homeowner in my truck, or my sales guys, hey, here is a homeowner's guide of State 48 Roofing, what to expect, how we work, how we roll, how to extend the life of your roof, how to maintain warranties on your roof, all those things for a homeowner. I'm creating one for realtors. So realtors with roofing, it's a huge thing. It's going to get 10 times worse in the valley in the next 10 years because the roofs continue to age.
Yeah.
So they have to negotiate those roofs more and more and more. We have one for restoration. Like, how can roofers complement restoration companies when it comes to storm damage? General contractors. No general contractors do roofing in-house. Zero.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, man, is I love that idea because consumers, buyer psychology, what they want is simplicity. The more simple it gets, the less overwhelming it is. And they want options too, to be clear, right?
Totally.
But I think, guides, especially when you're dealing with long cycle sales, and what I mean by that, because I just made it up, right, is like how many times in my life am I going to buy a roof? There is a lack of education. You have some consumers that'll become 60 years old and they never even ended up in that situation. And the lack of education and awareness causes us to go where? Do what? Now, this is my world, right? I'm a digital marketer. It's what I do for a living. I go to Google because Google, one, trust, authority. I'm not necessarily saying somebody's going to go to Google and buy a roof, but I'm certainly going to go to Google to find somebody like you that will teach me how to do that.
Bingo.
Or somebody that I can trust to guide me through that. Notice I said guide. They like simplicity. They like that type of thing. So good for you, man. Like, way to come up with a way to try and take some of that stress off of, homeowners, because it's scary shit, dude. When water's falling out of my ceiling or my air won't turn
It's a lot of
on,
money
or there's
too.
a hole- yeah. Right.
So going back to what you said, I don't know where this came from, and I believe that 90% of stats are made up. But the one of them was the average homeowner will replace their roof once in their lifetime. So for as long as they live, because people don't live in their same house they're not Warren Buffett where like, I've been there for 95 years, type crap.
Yeah.
So people move every 7 years, statistically, right? Every 7 years, there's a cycle of real estate and people moving, and they either they just get out of it or just got done. Maybe they do a new build, so it's not relevant.
Yeah.
But they're missing it. But on average, they will tangibly pay, maybe even storm related, maybe not, but they will have a roofing experience to replace their whole roof once in their lifetime.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
And so there's a lot. It's not like buying a car. You don't buy one car for your entire life. It's not a thing. I don't know what the cycle is for cars. I'm sure it's, very, 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 very small and short. Mm-hmm. There's other things where their life cycle is there's repetition, right? Cleaning your carpets. You don't clean your carpets once every 70 years, right? That is a weekly or monthly or quarterly, other things a year, like going to the dentist, right? Those type of things. So there's frequency with those services and those products, which in return gives them education on value and price.
Right.
With roofing, there's not. Mm-hmm. And the crazy part is, and this is not a racist comment, but just the hose, I call them Jose Hose B guys of the world, the little Mexican dudes or Guatemalan dudes that like Reyes Roofing, right, type crap.
Yeah.
Those guys that are somehow licensed, right? And by the way, the barrier to get a license in Arizona is a freaking joke, in my opinion, regarding qualifications and all that stuff. Not going there today.
Okay.
But anybody and their mom can get licensed freaking easy in Arizona.
Got it.
Regarding roofing. And the problem with that is those guys that go and do that, there's for $3,500. I think I paid $3,300 to get licensed 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
To get my license and all the paperwork for that, to get a minimal bond and to be quote unquote insured for liability and workers' comp with the bare minimum policy at minimum revenue and minimum payroll was about $3,300 to start. Cool. I'm licensed. I'm just as licensed as State 48 Roofing that's doing $1 million a month. Same legitimacy on paper.
That's so interesting to me.
Wild. Those guys go and bid a roof for $6,000, and I'm at, and me, and even my other, I call them healthy competitors, that are like actual dudes that actually have businesses, and they're not a ma and pa. Like, so we're 10, 11, 12 grand. Let's say within 10% of each other, stereotypically, right? One's 11, one's 13, one's 10, one's 14, one's 9. So you're there. Then you have this cat that's $6,000. Mm-hmm. And he's like, we'll do the exact same thing for this and this and this and this. And I'm like, make it make sense.
Right.
It just doesn't. That's the crazy part about all of this, guys, is when it comes to marketing, like, you have to make it a priority and invest into your business and invest into your brand. Mm-hmm. Because one, that's where you can get max money. Right. So, Tommy Mello, I know Tommy Mello, love Tommy, good buddies. And he talks about, like, when you show up with a uniform and you show up with a wrap vehicle and you show up and you're clean cut and you look good, you can naturally charge more just by showing up with those three things. Looking good, looking clean with a uniform and a wrap vehicle, you can naturally charge more than the guy that shows up in that white van, that unwrapped white van that we see everywhere. Yeah. That unwrapped vehicle with no shirt, with like my buddy Eric Dixon, right? Dixon flannel, with a Dixon flannel shirt on, but no logo.
I got a ton of them. I love the Dixon.
Yeah, right. Good brand. But and maybe like some garbage, outdated business card, and you look like you haven't showered in 3 days, and you have roofing shit all over you. Like, why is it so important to make sure that your brand is polished in the blue collar world?
It's so interesting to me that this topic's coming up, because I know you and I are we're freestyling here, right? Like, no agenda. Sure. And I respect that. I love that. I love when we can do something genuine. But, like, we have a group, we get together every month. Tommy is a part of that group. And I recently bought a garage door from Tommy, and we had a whole conversation about it. Tommy didn't even know I bought the door till after I was done, because I'm a believer, right? Like, you don't ask friends for discounts.
I've done two. I've done two from him. Yeah.
Right. And it's not cheap.
No.
But this is the thing. This is where I want to go with this, because it's like, value varies based upon your consumer, your customer. We all have different values, right? Like, so when I'm listening to you talk about the brand, because you get it, man, the State 48, like, you understand branding. And that's a compliment coming from a marketing guy.
Thank you.
Right? When you have brand and you have, that pride, when that salesperson shows up, whether you knock on a door, whether you use a social media channel, anything, and I get somebody who has an immense pride to be a part of that company, when they talk to me and they take me through, I'm going to use this word very, very, very aggressively, an experience. Guys, like, I'm buying and paying for an experience. Like, on the surface, I think I'm buying a roof. See, but what Tommy understands, that I think all blue collar people need to understand, is, how do I create an experience, right? Like, we talked about it. Like, Andy is a friend of mine. Lou is a great friend of mine. In many ways, a mentor too. And when we talk about Hawaika and we talk about air conditionings breaking on the roof, one thing they do that I've always admired is, like, they take pictures and video of the entire process. They come down off that roof and they go, "This is what I saw. Look at it. See it yourself. I'm not just some mechanic trying to screw you over. I'm somebody that is turning around and trying to educate you on what is wrong so it sells itself." But that's an experience to me. Like, I'm over your shoulder looking at this tablet. You're educating me. I'm learning. And let alone, let's also reference, like, when you pull up to my house and you ask me if you're parked in the right spot, or you called me on the way over to ask me if I want coffee, these are little things they do. I'm having this world-class experience. And there's so much money in the world that, like, different consumers that you go and you work with are willing to pay $12,000 compared to $6,000, because they know they're going to get a world-class experience.
So I'm going to stop you there, because I love the word experience, and the thought that came to me was a concert.
Totally.
So Cricket Pavilion, I'm sure it has a different name now, but back in the day, like, that's the concert hub of Arizona, right? Outdoors. And whether you get, it doesn't matter who your band is, it's irrelevant. The point of it being that you can listen to that song for free, unlimited usage of that song on repeat for free nowadays with any song. You can play for free forever, or $1 on Apple Music or whatever, right? But Spotify, those guys, like, you can play the exact same song a gajillion times. But you go to listen to that band play the exact same song. There's no difference in the lyrics or even the person singing the song. It is the experience of going to a concert and the vibe of from getting the ticket to maybe pre-gaming a little bit to going there to the experience overall, the after party, all that stuff, like physically being there, the vibe with other people that also, right, that are part of that experience. Like that's what a concert is. Isn't that what it is?
Yeah,
it's a glorified experience.
Like you get distracted by the revenue. Like, and I get that. Like, especially when you're accountable for so many things as a business owner. Like, it's a scary thing, right? But imagine if money didn't matter for a minute and you just looked at how do I create the world's most elite premier experience when I'm purchasing a roof, and go, what is every little micro detail that I could implement and strip the entire process step by step and go, how do I create an experience just so pristine that I almost want to pay this amount because everybody's talking about the level of that experience, right?
Dude, that's the Peloton, and during COVID, I was one of those guys.
There you go.
I was one of those guys, by the way. I was like $14 a month for 48 months. Yeah. I'm like, let's do it, right? Or whatever it was.
Well, look at speakeasies. I mean, I don't drink a ton. I'm a very like self-development, obsessed, health-oriented guy. But like when we go out, because I don't, it has to be someplace new. It has to be like an experience. But what I notice is when I talk to my wife about where we're going, and we pick like a restaurant, or even if it's like a bar, we're big on the speakeasy kick right now. And I've talked about this for years because before I got into digital marketing 12 years ago, I had bartended and waited tables at the Culinary Dropout. Shout out to my old friends from Sam Fox.
Nice.
And that was something.
The Scottsdale one?
Yeah. The original
Gilbert one wasn't there yet.
I would come and go because I was a touring frontman at the time, so I'd have to leave, come back, and you would jump restaurants. But what I had realized, at that time in my career was that it's when you walk in, it's the environment. It's the bougie cup that you put the cocktail in. Oh man, you served me my drink in a llama. Like it's all experiences. Like, oh, when they hand me this dish, there's one that just came out. We just went there last week with my friend Josh Kelly. 333. Have you heard of this place? You're gonna have to Google that one after.
333.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, you go in and they got these cherry blossom trees in the middle of the building, walls that are full-blown LED screens. But notice everything I'm talking about is not the food. And this is a restaurant.
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with
this?
It's
the vibe. Yep.
So that's what I think, too, is I'm like, every single industry, if you tie it back to, have I developed trust with the consumer and have I created an experience unlike any other? And then I go all out on social media channels, even organically, not even paid advertising, which is something I see you do well. I think it's a recipe. You could scale your business so drastically just using those channels for such a low cost. I think it's interesting to me.
And I feel like I go back to Jocko. Jocko spoke at Tommy's event, no pun intended, in San Diego. I was there with one of my business partners, Nikki T. He actually lives there in San Diego. And we went, and Jocko was talking about his book, Extreme Ownership. Amazing book, right? And I feel like as small business owners, what we struggle with, or we do not allocate time to because we either don't think it works, or we just don't see any value in it, so we don't do it, or we do it very half-assed or on the fly, is we don't do a debrief of our current experience of what is working and what is not working.
Oh, I love this. Because
you might be 90% of the experience, especially as a startup or you and a couple guys, like you might be like, if you have 18 things or 10 things from getting the lead for a roof to getting that 5-star review and getting the final check and the 9 things in between, you might be 7 out of the 10 things
Right.
in the beginning, right? The goal is to be 1 out of the 10 of that transaction, or even 0. But the point of it being is, are you going back and doing an audit on your experience? I love that. Like, I'm going to go do this, like, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to go freaking write it down and bring it back to my team. Like, what the experience does that look like? Because you have different departments as you grow. You will have different departments. Like, I have a marketing department, and they're the ones that help me generate the leads, right? And there's people and internally and externally in there. Then from there, it goes to my dispatching team, and that experience, right? Were they warm? Were they fluffy? Did they answer quickly? Did they answer all their questions? Did they get them the right day and the right time? Did they get all the information? Cool. That's an experience.
Right.
Within an experience. It's like a micro experience.
Totally.
Then you go to the sales, your sales team and your sales guy, going out there and giving the bid, giving the proposal, the technician diagnosing the roof or diagnosing the AC unit or whatever, right? From there, then whether you do it while you're there, like an AC tech would, or like us, where none of our sales guys actually do the work in roofing, right? No, I don't know anybody that does the sales and the work at the same time. So then you have a production team.
Right.
Well, then first you have a scheduling team of the services. And then from there, you have the dispatching of it, then to get it done. Then when you're done, so see all these hands, right? And all these there's like 8 or 9 mini experiences that create this one huge, amazing experience.
Right.
All the way to our billing department. Hey, do you have any questions? We're going to go do a final inspection, make sure everything's good to go. Make sure you get that sexy roof status, right? Guarantee. And here's your warranty paperwork. And here's a link to leave us a 5-star review. And who else do you know needs a roof?
Yeah, you got to peel back the layers. It's like the onion, that you got to keep peeling back the layers. And honestly, I always tell this story to my employees, because as they sit in a room and we work on self-development and growth, I think it's just kind of a silly analogy, but I said in my past life, right, I was a former musician, and when I fronted for this band, we always looked up to this other band growing up, and I would watch them play at an old venue called the Bash on Ash, and looking at guitar amplifiers was boring. So what they did is they created these banners to put it in front. And the banners just advertised the band name, right? But then they had this outdoor show. I followed them around like a groupie for a while. I wanted to watch that. They were my idols, right? That was my dream. And when they played outside, what had happened is the wind blew over the banners, and it was kind of a disaster. And in that moment, as I watched and observed, the onion, what if these banners were made out of copper instead of plastic? They're heavier. It's that simple. So I went back, and in my band, I did it. I did that micro detail experience. It's that, but the story and the analogy, okay, is that the deeper you go, is your truck dirty or clean when you pull up? Like, the deeper you can think and the more specific and perfect that you strive for. Now, don't get me wrong, like, progress over perfection, I'm a huge advocate of that. But
done is better than perfect, for sure.
Right. And, we have to, there are elements, though, I think, in the consumer, in the customer's eyes, where there is a level of a standard and a perfection that we need to strive for, and we can never waver. Protect the brand at all costs. And I think that level of detail is essential. But there's an internal piece to this, too. I love that you said, hey, right after this podcast, I'm going to go do this, because I want to gift you with something right now. See, Rhino, when we started in 2008, it was the founders for the first 4 years, give or take. I came into the picture around 2012, and we sat around this kitchen table. One thing we did that took us all the way to 25 million, we're far bigger at this point, but like when I think back, every single year around November and December, we would do this thing. It was called right, wrong, missing, and confusing. Now notice there's 3 negatives there and 1 positive. Mm-hmm. But what we did is it was truly anonymous. We would send out a survey to every single employee within the organization and allow them to anonymously write, open field, what they felt like was right, wrong, missing, and confusing. Okay? And
right, wrong, missing, confusing.
Yes.
I'm totally doing this.
And what we did, okay, is then we had what was called an executive retreat. So the founders, myself, we would all go to the cabin, for 2 days, and we would put stickies all over the walls. But a lot of how we developed our initiatives, our objectives, our thematic goal, like to rally the team for the following year, set our growth goals, the whole plan, it came by analyzing. We took the time, we went through every single anonymous bit of feedback, and we looked for trends. Listen, you're going to have silly things, man. Like, I'm sorry you don't like the coffee pot. Like, you're lucky you have coffee. That's not one of my goals for next year. So you're going to have to like write some things off.
Yeah.
But
you're not going to get a ninja or whatever. Yeah.
You will find a trend. I promise you, you will find a trend in that data. And then what happens, right, is we create initiatives and we go and we present in front of the entire company. Listen, we did it when there was 5 people. We would just do it in an office.
Yeah.
But as we grew and scaled, for the longest time, I'm not saying we didn't pay attention to balance sheets, P&L, but like a lot of our growth was attributed to making sure that our culture, our employees felt heard. They felt valued because what they saw, and you hear Cristiano say this a lot, he says, don't talk about it, be about it. See, the entire company at Rhino bought into the culture, believed in it, and became as passionate as I was because they saw people leading it that didn't just say things. They did things. They acted on things, and their strategies would literally drive the company towards this vision to say, hey, we hear you. We care about you. We are going to do these things for you. So I want to gift that to any of your viewers. Like if you were running a business, I urge you to do this exercise.
I'm
It was
no.
game changer for us, man.
Even before I go back and listen to this and post it and chop it up, right?
That's right.
Wrong, missing,
Confusing.
not kissing.
Right, wrong, missing, confusing. And I beg you guys, do right last because it's very exhausting. You're passionate about your business. You care about your business. When you go through the 3, the wrong, missing, and confusing, like it gets emotional and overwhelming because you feel like things are falling apart. It's really good to just finish with right. It just really restores the faith that you need to.
Yeah, because this,
fight.
Especially if you have several team members, that could be heavy.
It's a game changer, though, man. I'm telling you.
Okay, so let me flip one on you. This is not a +1. This is not. I have a buddy that lives in California. I call him the one-upper. Every time I talk to him, he's like, "Oh, I have a 100-inch TV." He's like, "I have an 100-inch TV with the built-in DVD player," and I'm like, "Dude, shut up." Right? So this is not that.
It's all good.
There's another analogy. I don't remember who told me this, but I did it. So I may have even just created it. But the point of it, and I actually did this. Wild. So I have 3 people on my marketing team, in-house. 3 in my marketing team. I have a COO. I have a production, 2 production managers, like co-production managers. I have, at the time, I have at least 5, between 5 and 10 sales reps at any given time, depending on hiring and firing. So I have like 5 or 6 sales reps. I have 5 people on my production team that are not my production managers. So I have about 25 to 28 people at this time. This is last year. This is the middle of last year. And so 25, 28, I said, hey, congratulations. We are now the state 48 roofing football team. Well, how many people? They're like, no, offense and defense. You play both ways. And you only have 11 people to put on the field. And anonymously, I said, hey, who are your top 10? Obviously, you want to put yourself. If you don't put yourself, then please leave. Right? Obviously, you should put yourself. Yeah. So put yourself. So you can pick any 10 out of the 25. You can only take, or 28. You can only take 10 with you to go to war in the company.
Yeah.
Take away their personality, take away their family, take away their lifestyle, take away all that stuff. Or maybe that's a decision-making factor.
Yeah.
And I said, who are the 10 people you would take with you? Holy shit.
Eye-opening.
Oh my gosh, it was so awesome.
You see a lot of similarities.
Oh, fuck yes. Yes, it was wild.
Yeah.
Because out of the 25, 28 names, maybe there's even 30, but between 25, 30 names.
Did you analyze why they chose them?
Yes.
Because it makes me think about that Simon Sinek video. You know how they the Navy SEALs would prefer a mid-level performer with high trust over a high performer with no trust.
Yes.
You know what video I'm talking about?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
That's what the story makes me think about. And it's
and I'm like, so out of 10 people, out of 25 people, you only take 10. And there's 2 or 3 that were on 95% of them.
That's so interesting.
There was 2 or 3 that were not on 95% of them.
What about the positions? I mean, do you feel like there's any roles in your organization where they have less interaction with the entire team, so it kind of biases it a little bit? Any of that going on?
That was a factor.
Okay.
Because, so even you saw here, like you only saw 2 people, right? I have 80 employees. There's only 3 here.
In this beautiful office, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But like, there's only 3 people here right now.
Yeah.
But when we're all here, it's a party. Literally. And we that was a factor because, like, for example, I have two call setters that live. One lives in Gold Canyon, and she has a daughter, and her daughter goes to school in Gold Canyon Elementary. And it'd be stupid in my opinion, for her to drive 45 minutes from Gold Canyon to here every day, an hour and a half round trip every single day.
Yeah, that's rough.
I'd rather have you take 30 minutes off or 30 minutes of personal development and work another hour and work from home.
Yeah, I love how much you care or you're aware of that.
Yeah. So, and my other call star lives on McQueen in Guadalupe, the other corner of Gilbert, which is 30 minutes, 28 minutes one way from her house to here. Same thing, 30 minutes one way, hour a week, 5 hours a week, 20 hours a week of driving where there's zero value from her or zero value from me.
Yeah.
Like 20 hours, like compounds, it's gross. So
For sure.
that did play a factor because I was truly looking at, but I also know people that still make an impact and have influence, even though they quote unquote work from home, because their engagement on our CRM, their engagement when we have monthly staff meetings, where everybody gets together. We have 3 calls a week, so we have like check-in calls. We call them. We have 2 wins. So training, we use Cardone University, so Grant Cardone. Yeah. So we're all, so like, what's your win from training on that, and then just either a personal, professional, or a financial win, right? Like I worked out today, I got out of debt, I paid off my car, I bought a new car, whatever, right? And so we do wins Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So between the engagement from that and the staff meetings and your and the text threads, so there's a handful of ways to interact. Because until we got this building, no one was there in my office. Zero.
I mean, listen, if you want to be a difference maker, you'll find a way.
Yes.
I do believe in that. Like, I get that there's certain roles that are maybe a little less interactive, but you know, you're gonna have players, like, if they're all in and they're passionate, you know, they'll find a way to make a difference.
Well, and so before the building, because right now there's about 2 or 3 that are here like every day. So before that, when we did this, the building wasn't here. It was being built, but we weren't here yet.
Got it.
So it was an even playing field. So it wasn't like, oh, well, these same 3 people hang out and see each other every day, and there's camaraderie, and there's, you know, building, and there's, you know, the relationships, not relevant.
Yeah.
And that was one of the biggest aha moments for me, was like, if you're going to go to war with these, I think movie 300, one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Great movie.
I love that movie.
And I'm like, so instead of taking 300, you can only take 30, or you only take 10.
Right.
Who would they be? And I'm like, that just show, and it was anonymous. So I got to see it, and my wife, and nobody else did. And I'm like, holy crap.
It's so interesting when you see the business from a different lens like that, you know, through the eyes of the team members, and, you know, you get to look at it in a completely different light. You know, it's funny, something you said there triggered a thought for me. Like, we had toyed around with EOS. You familiar with EOS? It's like
Employee, is that the...
I think it's employee operating. It's Gino Wickman wrote a book called Traction that really was what drew our attention. And I mean, this is years ago, so I'm struggling to remember some of the details. But I just
is that where the employees own the business?
What's that?
Is that what EOS is?
No, EOS is a program, you know, that it was designed to help you develop the business, to create like systems, processes, core values, you know, start to have like some foundation and structure. You know, we read the book as a leadership team. We were very small at the time, but and I don't know what you said that made me think about it. But
the book, it's called EOS?
EOS, yeah,
okay.
EOS. Well, the book is called Traction. The program is EOS.
Oh, so he has a program that you can invest in or be a part of.
Correct. Like, he has implementation coaches and things like that come to your office, and they help you start to
gotcha.
form you know, meeting cadences, systems, processes to get improved leadership cohesion, and to just it's business development is what it is. You know, but I think where I'm going with this is we had used the direction of this program to start you know, formalizing our core values, you know, and we've always had a mission statement, you know, but your vision has to be big enough for everyone to fit into it, you know, as a leader, and you got to be able to think big as a visionary. But what I loved about that program is it caused us to really think, like, what are our core values? And at the time, it seems overwhelming because there's like so many things you could choose. But And I'm always trying to give value, man. That's where I'm going with this story, by the way. It's like, I know you have viewers and I want them to have actionable takeaways that they could go and implement into their businesses.
Sure.
And one thing that we did at Rhino that I love, that I always try to share whenever I can, is the process and how we came up with our core values. This is how I came up with it, because you did the anonymous, I was trying to figure out, why did I go down this path? You did the anonymous survey looking at the 10 people. Well, we had a similar process for our core values. You see, what we did at that same executive retreat for the right, wrong, missing, confusing, 1 year when we were designing our core values, we anonymously, like the three of us, wrote down all the words and the things that we loved and that we took a lot of pride in. But what I always admired is that we had this requirement to make sure it was applicable to us as people. Like, we didn't want our core values and the culture to be things that only were applicable as employees here at work. Does that make sense? Like, we wanted the core values to be something that you could be proud of, like as a dad.
Applicable in all facets of
Well,
your
yeah,
life.
dude, because think about it. Like, if you want your team to be proud of State 48, like, they can't only be proud between work hours. Like, they need to go home and be proud. They need to wake up and be proud.
100%.
And we have to help our employees understand how our businesses are going to get them what they want out of life, how to get them where they want to go. Like, it's not always about us and our companies. True leadership is about getting these people to where they want to go.
Right.
I mean, it's like, I know some business owners that take it personal, like when employees leave. And I'm like, listen, my only goal is to make sure you're better when you left than when you started. I get it. This might not be the end place for you in your life, but like, if you can look at me and say, I'm better because of my time here, then we accomplished the goal that I'm after. I'm a people builder because I know people run businesses. So the lesson in all this, right, is like, if you don't have core values, get them. If you're struggling to come up with them, try this exercise. Like, get 5 people in the room, key players, write down all those words, but make that rule. Like, the word has to be applicable to you as a person. And when you come back and you get together and you put the list, you're going to see a trend in that too. Like, hey, actually, 4 out of 5 of us love this word. See, for us, genuinely caring was one of them.
Nice.
And that was something that was such a staple, like, for us. Like, it was one of the main out of 7 values. We had picked 7 because there was EOS says don't do more than 7. But we just couldn't decide because we loved so many of them. But all this to say, man, like, this is a great way to come up with that, because it seems funny. Like, when I look back and, I teach small business owners how to build, I think about this and I go, it's something that seems so simple. It's like cliche. You go, oh, core values. But when I look back, I think it was one of the most pivotal moments in which our organization started rowing in the same direction and a culture started forming.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, look at me, man. Like, I walk around in the black and orange. You walk around in the black and green. It's because we find a way to connect our emotions to these organizations that have some type of purpose and value in our personal lives.
Totally.
So
it's interesting that you bring up core values because, so Brandon Dawson, Cardo Ventures.
Yep. Familiar.
Buddy of mine and mentor of mine.
Smart man.
Talked about, he's doing pretty good. He talks about hiring and firing based off your core values. So he's like, and he talks about no emotion in business, right? And he literally is like, I've hired people, I'll bring them in and say, hey, here are our core values. As long as you can abide by it, do you have, not if, but which one of these do you have a problem with?
Yeah.
And so it like makes you think like, do you have a problem with any of these? Be like, oh no, I got all of them, not a problem. No, this, and he flips it, he says, which one of these do you have a problem with? Which one of these would you struggle with most before you even start? So I can make sure I can help you to never compromise that core value.
I love that so much because he makes it factual.
Yes.
He's tying a difficult conversation back into, rather than me be opinionated and blame you for something and get emotions involved, he ties it back into a factual component that says, well, these are the values and what you did, does this display it? That's brilliant. Yeah. That's brilliant.
And so firing, right? High emotions, people getting mad, yelling, screaming, throwing stuff, whatever. It's more like movie based, right? Have you ever fired people in like legitimate business? Like 95% of the time, that kind of shit doesn't happen. At least not in my business. But same thing. Pull out the core values. Yeah. Get a Sharpie. Hey, well, I think we have, I'll have to double check. I think we have 8. And we go through like, hey, multiple times with multiple notifications of you compromising these. Mm-hmm. Here are the 1, 2, 3, or maybe all 8, right? Yeah. Core values that you compromised. And these are our rules. Mm-hmm. And this is how we hire and fire. You've compromised these enough times to where you're now a liability and an asset to the company. Yeah. I need your stuff. I wish you all the best. And you're gone.
Yeah, that's hard, man. But like,
Because it's not like you did this and you did that and you didn't do this.
yeah.
No. Here's a core value because it levels the playing field for everybody. There's no like emotional tie of like she's white, she's black, it's a guy, it's a girl, purple or been here 20 years or been here 2 years. It's no. You like this is how we roll.
Right.
If like you said, the experience. If we do all of these things, every single person in every single department, we will create an amazing, phenomenal experience.
That's right.
But what we're doing is that you are the weakest link in the experience because you have compromised these core values. And for that reason, you need to go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't win Super Bowls by having a few weak players. Like, everybody has to be playing at their best. They have to believe in the mission. They have to row in the same direction. I mean, I totally get it. My question for you, is I think we all know, right, when it gets to that point, we have to part ways, with an employee. It should never really be a surprise. I get it. It happens, right?
Yeah.
But if we're leading correctly, they can typically sense it's coming.
Yes.
Like
100%.
What's your advice in those situations? How you have that conversation or how you open that door?
Always face to face.
Yeah.
I just had somebody go, I got rid of 5 sales reps last year.
I'm sorry to hear that, dude. It
Yeah.
breaks my heart. Like when I part
Yeah.
ways with people, it's not easy.
Yep. Whether they left on their own or I fired them, yeah, it's like because internally as a leader, you should be doing a debrief of yourself, of like where did I or my company fail them?
Yeah.
Not like they suck. That's an easy.
my
It's
ownership
an easy
in
cop
this?
out. It's like they suck because of this. Like no, why not? Why do you suck as a business owner or as a leader? What did you do to fail them? And that takes a lot of humility and awareness and accountability of like, oh shit, I could have done better here, here, and here. Then you implement that into your training, and then with the next person, you don't make those mistakes. So to answer your question, I always do it face to face. Always.
Yeah.
It's awkward. I have learned something that's helped me tremendously in business is get over and learn how to master having hard conversations to where it's just a normal conversation. To them, it's like you're getting fired. Like they're antsy, they're sweaty, they're nervous, they're freaking out. Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble. And I walk in and I'm like,
Yeah, it's so interesting. I've always tried to look for the equation in this, and I think, my process, because I always think, how do I make this actionable? How do I make this a process? And for me, anytime I get a new employee, especially if they report directly to me, one thing I like to do is I track their 3 personal goals, and I do this because really, there's an art to developing a relationship. Like the more you and I are comfortable with each other, the more we can have difficult conversations and know that there's no judgment.
right.
So I try to be very intentional about developing a relationship. And I get it. Like some people go, hey, business, don't get emotions, don't get involved. I just disagree with that. Like if you want to be the best, you got to be passionate. You want to be passionate. Feelings do need to be involved.
Right.
You can't tell me leave feelings out. I think that there's an art and there's a balance to it for sure.
Yeah, so let me give clarity to that because I personally say there's no emotion in business. 1000% agree with that. When it comes to decision making, you cannot react off of emotion because that is an illogical reaction to a logical situation. And if you're using your feelings, well, what if you have really bad feelings then and you make that decision? That could be a bad decision.
For sure.
Or very high or very low.
I couldn't agree more. In that context, I think that it's very important to eliminate, emotions.
But yeah, passion, dude. Like as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, bro, the only reason why you started that freaking business was because you were passionate about something. It's the only fucking reason why you went into business in the first place.
Oh, what do you got you're like what is it, a psychiatrist who listen to your emotions or?
Yes. Like,
that's part of being a business owner. Like, if you want them to be passionate about the job, like sometimes you're going to sit in a room and listen to some feelings.
Yes.
But when I say, tracking those 3 personal goals and developing that connection, it helped so much. That face-to-face, like you're saying, it would be so much easier to say, where did I fall short in this? And, what do you wish you could have done differently? And that willingness to be open and vulnerable, it had changed drastically the minute there was a relationship,
Right.
And really where I try to take this direction is, there was a strategy, over the years that I developed when I was having difficult conversations, and it came from a gentleman named The Real Frank. They call him that because nobody can pronounce his last name. It's like Bjednak or something. Oh. I got like a free webinar invite, and he's known in the home services. Like, so This was like during, I don't know, right beginning of COVID, and I went and I attended his course, and he gives it in a step by step. And I want to share that. I want to gift that. He talked about, well, if somebody is doing something wrong, like step one is he would bring them into the office, and he would listen, and he would say, is everything okay? It comes from a place of care.
Yeah.
What do you mean? Well, do you know why I brought you in here? And they're either going to say why, or they're going to say no. And he would sometimes say, okay, well, hey, there's a reason. I want you to think about it. I'm going to go get some water. I'll come back. And he would do this intentionally because that's exactly it, man. The pressure. Like, they would just.
It's not, did you do something wrong? It's what did you do wrong?
Yeah, there you go.
If you weren't here, you wouldn't freaking be in here.
Yes. He would say like 95% of the time when he came back from getting the water, they had an answer. See, this is the thing though, is like he puts it on them. It's always a frame of a question to where they take the accountability so that you're not the bad guy. But the best thing is like how he would end the conversation is he would turn around and say, well, listen, let's work on that. He would say that the only exception is when something was going on at home. Even then, he would always work it backwards and say, hey, let's schedule a follow-up meeting. We're going to get together in 2 weeks, 30 days, a week, whatever it might be. Let's just kind of revisit this and make sure that we've corrected course. Is that fair? And they would obviously commit and arrange to that. And then they would come back if there was still a problem. So how are things going? And if it continued to be wrong, then he would ask them this very simple question. What would you do if you were me?
Oh,
what would you do if you were me? And this is the thing, is it was such a game changer.
That's
for
so
me
good.
Because it's fair, right? Like, just like you said with the values, hey, how is what you're doing here so associating with our values? It still brings me back to this. What would you do if you were me? Because we met, I gave you that chance. I was empathetic. I asked you if everything was okay. How did we get to this point? I said, are we going to learn from it? Like, I get it. Mistakes don't have to be mistakes. They can be opportunities. I gave you that. I gave you the chance to turn this into an opportunity instead of a mistake. Now here we are. We're back, and you still have not corrected course. So what would you do if you were me? And it's one of the greatest lessons I ever learned. Like, anytime I've had to part ways, it still hurts. It still bothers me. But like, you have to take some accountability in this.
Yeah, that's when they say that. That's them basically saying, yeah, I probably shouldn't be here. I should probably leave, or I shouldn't work here anymore.
That's exactly it. And most of the time, that's what comes out of their mouths. But it still puts you back in the chair to say, I don't typically give second chances, man. But as an owner, right, like, you have to assess the value that the employee brings to the business, and
their willingness to change, and they're willing, like, so
that's far more important than the value,
right? Yeah. So I had actually one of the gals that's over there that you met several years ago. There was an instance where she made a mistake, a pretty significant mistake, and I met with Dory and I said, hey, like, we either need to do one of two things. Either we need to let her go, or we need to be like, hey, this will never be tolerated again. If you ever do this again, there's no, like, I'll let you come to my office just to shake my hand, and you tell me you're sorry before you walk out the door. That's all. Like, never, don't want this to happen again.
Yeah.
And she was in tears. She was so sorry. She was so apologetic of it. She owned it 100%. And she is now my second most valuable team member.
Isn't that so interesting?
She went from being fired 3 years ago to literally being my, like, talk about trust.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you say? Not as the SEALs, right? Like, not as
like a medium level trust, or a medium performer, high trust.
Yeah, but like, and she's actually a high performer now. But like, that trust level is like top tier.
Yeah.
Now, when 3 years ago it was like, I'm gonna fire you.
But listen to what you said. Right? She's a high performer now. Like, you don't.
She wasn't
that.
then. Yes.
Like, you have to go through I'm blessed. Okay, I got to speak like at some juvenile detention centers and try to inspire kids to correct their path. And the lesson that I always talk about and teach is very comparable to what you're saying, Jason. It's hardship. Like, people that understand hardship, people that have done wrong, people that understand rock bottom, people that have made mistakes, errors, like, it's a pendulum, man. Like, you can't become great without dealing with your losses and your hardship, like, or making mistakes. Listen, 13 years, man, I've had 8 promotions. Like, I grew with this company, and this isn't to boast. It's simply to say I've been in that chair. I made mistakes. Like, I've had difficult conversations. I screwed up. I didn't become a high performer by just being a high performer. So, like, bless your heart for creating an opportunity, where an employee can come back to you and right the ship, because that's the only way you're going to build great players, man.
Well,
otherwise you're going to buy them. You're going to pay a lot for them.
And let's end on this, because as business owners and as leaders, we talk about, and this has been a lot of my growth in the past 24 months, like substantial growth from where I was, is as business owners and as leaders, we are so willing to work on other team members and other people and develop them and work on them and hold them accountable and get them metrics and get them goals. But then if we were to put ourselves, get a mirror, like David Goggins, right? Get a mirror and have the exact same fucking conversation with yourself of what would you do? Would you fire yourself? Some of you guys need to fucking fire yourselves. Some of you guys need to fire yourselves. Some of you guys need an ass whooping, right? And some of you guys need to understand that, like, you are the biggest, you're the bottleneck in your business. You're actually the one that's choking
in the way.
You're the one that's in the way.
That's right.
But because we're the owner and most of your team members, if not all of them, don't have the balls or the I don't want to say other than the balls too, the willingness, the risk involved with telling you, hey, you are the problem, Mr. Business Owner that cuts my checks, that controls my destiny here within the business. You are the problem. I really think that we can do better, especially in 2025. There is such a lack of leadership, and not like C-suite leadership. I'm talking about like business ownership. I personally feel there's such a huge lack of leadership because the leaders don't take ownership.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I mean, this is such a passionate topic for me, because I mean, I'm genuine and vulnerable enough to admit, like, I wouldn't be who I am today if I didn't have the leaders I had. The leaders I had, I was always watching. Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of employee longevity. When you have 13 years and you've got a memory to think about who you were, who you became, how you got there, the things that I think about is I had great examples. And I was held to very, very unrealistic standards. But the thing is like, the mind doesn't realize what it's capable of. The person doesn't realize what they are capable of until you have somebody that has that level of standards. I mean, it got to a point where, like, I'm like, these standards, they're realistic. They're not easy. They're intentionally not easy because we're not building B players. We're building elite A+ players, And man, like, when you're the business owner, I think sometimes you're so distracted, with the things that come with entrepreneurship that you don't necessarily realize the impact you have. I mean, I could sit across your desk working for you. You say one thing wrong, like, I'll lose sleep all weekend because I care so much about the impression. I care so much, like, you determine the fate. Mm-hmm. Especially when you build cultures where employees are that bought in and they care as much as they do, it weighs even heavier. Mm. And there's just such an impact that you have and a power in the room that you may not necessarily know because, sometimes the employees, how comfortable are they with even showing or sharing that they feel? So, I mean, we could talk about this one for days, man, but like you do have to take accountability. Who you are, how you live your life, your routines, man. I see you every morning. Like, I'm an early bird. I see you at the gym, bro. I'm watching. I might not like your stuff. I might not comment on your stuff, but Jason, I watch. And that's why I wanted to be here. And that's why I was excited to do this with you, because you're somebody I want to know. And how do I make that decision? Because I'm watching. And what I see is somebody who's doing the necessary things. They're not talking, they're doing. Yeah. The employees do that too, man. Like, they watch, they take pride in working for you because they see the type of person that you are, the human being that you are. And they go, that's somebody I want to follow. And they follow you into war because they trust you. They trust you because they see how you go about your life. Yeah. You can tell I'm just getting fired up, man. So I'll pause there.
No, you're good. You're good.
Such a big deal.
Well, the icing to the cake that they just dropped right there is one of my favorite sayings is "caught over taught." Right? I'm a Gilbert High School graduate. That's about it. Of like a couple of semesters in a junior college that I totally failed. But the mathematical sign of greater than, right? Like, taught is greater than, caught is greater than taught, right? You just said doing instead of.
Yeah. No, it's cool. It's the first I've heard this.
Instead of caught. But yeah, so it's caught over taught.
Yeah.
Because a lot of us will teach and do this and do this and do this and this. It's like, dude, watch me do it.
Yeah, your awareness. Like if you're looking for it, I mean, I call it deep listening, right? Like, don't just listen. Like, what are you not saying right now? Like your body language, what the words you're not using. Like it does tell me things.
Sure.
You know, and I think when you're constantly not just watching people, but you're also listening, learning, looking, you can, to your point, it's caught. You catch it. I think there's difference. Like, at least that's how I interpret it. Is like I want to be taught. I'd love to be taught, but the difference, right, is like caught is something I can control. I can catch that, and I constantly look and learn. I love what you said, man. I'm gonna take that one with me.
There you go. Cool. Alrighty, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. Like I said, if this had any sort of impact on you, share it with a friend. Share it with somebody else that could benefit from it. All you do is press that copy link, send it to somebody. There's no advertisements. I'm not asking for anything, right? Michael's not asking for anything. We just want to add value and give back based off of our experiences, both good and bad, to where you can learn from them, to where you can become the best version of yourself and reach your true potential. So appreciate you all. See you in the next one.